Hello, and welcome to this presentation on how networking can improve the efficiency of your job search. My name is Phil Konecki, and I am a career coach with Jewish Family Service in Dallas, Texas. I hope this presentation is useful in your own search by providing a framework to use what most of us already know and do on a daily basis. Looking for a job is not what people normally do. We like to have our job. We like to have our bills paid on time. We like to have a schedule. We like to have that continuity. And when that's gone, people are going to be very inspired to get back to work quickly. They'll work on their resume. They'll scan the job postings. They'll send applications out. They'll keep a log of their activities. They'll do what they think they're supposed to do. After a while, however, when the responses aren't coming in, they're going to start to feel more and more isolated. The only thing they have is their computer and the internet to try and provide the answers as to what's going wrong. Finally, when enough rejections, or worse than that, no responses at all even accumulate, the job seeker is going to start to, what are they even trying for? These things happen more often than not. What most people fail to realize is that we cannot control how or even if others respond to us. But we do control those things that can set us up to be better candidates. Let's take a look at networking and learn more about, as I mentioned earlier, things we may already know. As I mentioned earlier, the goal of this presentation is to help you be more efficient in your job search. So let's take a look at 4 things that I'd like to present to you that I believe can be of assistance. If we're going to talk about networking, the first thing we have to do, of course, is define what networking is. And this is something that's quite often misunderstood. Once we have that defined, we'll take a look at the benefit of networking. Why does it work? And we'll talk about why it's so successful as well. And then we are going to finally talk about something called the hidden job market. And these are jobs that, as we're going to see a little bit later, are jobs that really a lot of folks don't know about because they're not made public. The first thing we have to do, of course, is to define networking. But before we talk about what networking is, we need to understand what it isn't. It isn't something designed to get a job. It can help, but that's not what it's designed to do. Now, this may seem confusing, and you've probably seen statistics about how 70 to 80% of the jobs are obtained through networking. But that's the critical difference. The ways people get jobs, think about that. They'll submit applications online, they'll work with a recruiter, some people even go knocking on doors. But these are things that people do when they have to do. They're aberrations. They're not normally part of what we do every day. Networking, on the other hand, is something we do every day. Most of us are already good at it. We use it when we had a job, and we can use it when we're looking for a job, and we're going to continue to use it even after we have a job. So our goal is simply to do the same thing that we've been doing again and again, and we are going to become very good at this. Okay, we know what networking isn't, so let's go ahead and get that definition now. Now, since we're talking about finding the next job, let's talk about networking for the job market. There's 2 key points with regard to networking in the job market, and you can see them on the slide. Number 1, it's the process of obtaining industry-specific information. Now, that information can result in job leads to that hidden job market that I talked about earlier. The second thing that makes networking for the job market very successful is that it's reciprocal. You are going to help other people and they're going to help you. And so if we were to put this in a very simple context, whether it's about a job market or not, networking is not about talking. It's about listening. Think about a networking event that you may have seen. You may have an image of a conference room, some tables set up, people gathered around the tables talking amongst themselves. And when you walk in, one of the things that you're going to be concerned about is how are you going to join the party, if you will? How are you going to become part of those groups, and how are you going to network? A lot of people have a very real fear of public speaking. And when people believe that network is all about being the life of the party and being outgoing, they naturally assume that with having the ability to speak in public. And so if I have a fear of public speaking, I'm not going to be a good networker. In reality, however, networking is not about speaking at all. Networking is about listening. And for those folks who have a fear of public speaking, or if they are shy, they are going to make the best networkers. Because shy people don't really talk too much. They do listen, however, very, very well. And when we're networking, we don't want to do all the talking. We're not going to learn a lot when we're talking to others, but we're going to learn an awful lot when we listen to them. When people know that you're going to listen to them, that you're going to care about what they say, that you're going to possibly even provide some solutions or introduce them to somebody who could be a solution for them. When people learn this about you, they are going to remember that. They are going to talk to their other contacts about this person they met who actually cared about what they said. And they're going to do this quite often without you even knowing about it. And what starts to happen is you start to develop a reputation that you care about what other people say, a reputation that you are somebody that the other folks want to get to know. And this is what one of the benefits of networking truly is. And so we come to it. Why is networking so successful? Well, we're looking at it from the employer's point of view. And understanding that you may have applied for a job and somebody may have rejected you because the job was given to somebody that the employer knows. And we may feel that that's not right, that that's not fair. But one of the things that the employers want to do is they want to hire somebody that they know, or somebody who has been recommended to them by somebody that they know well. And why is this? An employer truly doesn't want to make a recommendation based on a resume or even a quick interview, because they're quite often concerned with not the aberration, as I talked about, which is the resume, which is the interview. They want to know what a person is like day to day. All employees are going to be great and perfect during the first couple of weeks of the job. But the employer is very afraid of, after the first month or so has passed, they realize that they may have made a bad hire. And so if you become recommended by somebody, that's going to ease that employer's fear about whether or not to hire you. And the second reason networking is very successful is that most of the jobs that are acquired aren't really advertised outside of the company. If a company were to post a job out on a job board and within 15 minutes they may get 1,000 applications, we've all heard that story. But companies have to pay money to advertise on these jobs. And so a company's going to pay to advertise on a job board. They'll get thousands of responses very quickly. And it's going to be a very difficult challenge to sort through those. Now, there's applicant tracking software. There's people who can do phone interviews to help sort through that. But if a company didn't have to go through that, why would they? Let's take a minute and talk about this hidden job market I was referring to earlier. Employers are just like the rest of us. They like predictability, they like the control, they like being able to count on events happening when they want them to. Sometimes, however, circumstances employers that are going to happen that they didn't plan for. Taking a look at this slide, you'll see some points that I've put up here about some things that can be considered hidden jobs. If an employee has to leave a job suddenly for medical issues or unexpected reasons, the employer hasn't planned on that. And so the employer is going to try and find the best candidate as quickly as possible. And these are positions that may not ever be advertised outside of the company itself. And that's about it. This was a very overview discussion on networking. There's a lot more that we can go into, but that would be time prohibitive in this particular presentation. I hope that you are able to have a better understanding of the objectives that we started off with today, and that you'll have an idea about how networking can actually make your job search more efficient. In conclusion, I hope that you can see how networking can make your job search more efficient, as well as increase the chances that you're satisfied with the job once you do accept it. Again, my name is Konecki, and I wish everybody the best of luck in their job search.